Hey everyone, you're listening to Party Time, My Golf Story with Kevin Walsh and whatever special guest he has today. You can check me out on episode 9 of the podcast. Today I'm wearing Grayson clothes while I'm out practicing because I believe in look good, play good. And follow me on Instagram, Sophia Warren Golf, and hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers. And the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com. Now here's your host, Kevin Walsh.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the program. We have another great show for you here. If the background looks a little bit different, it should. This is the first show we've taken on the road. That's my stepmother, Mary, walking in the background. I'm back visiting my parents in Ledyard, Connecticut. Mary, wave to the camera over there. Yeah, that's Mary. That's my stepmom. Over here, that's my dad. All right. So these are the first podcast crashers that we have had on the program, but glad you could join us here. Rick Stauffer is our guest. Rick is a professional caddy. He's been a long-time golfer, loves the game of golf more than just about anybody I know. Just an interesting fellow from the greater St. Louis area. So we're going to get into his personal story and professional story about what he did in the corporate world, what he's doing in the golf world and with caddying, and just what makes a good caddy and what is the difference between, say, a tour caddy and somebody that's caddying for somebody at a private club or at a resort. An update on the business, we are closing in on 4,000 subscribers, and that's all because of you, which I appreciate very much. If you're one of the few that hasn't subscribed to the podcast yet, please do that because it makes a difference in the metrics to the nerds at Google, YouTube, Spotify. They count that stuff, and it makes a big difference. And also to our title sponsors, it makes a difference to them. So like the podcast if you haven't done it, and subscribe to it. And if you want to leave a comment, that would go a long way as well. Big thanks to our title sponsors, Party Drinks. If you indulge on the golf course and you're a little tired of beer, or you're tired of pretending that certain seltzers and certain drinks named after crustaceans taste good, try a Party. Absolutely delicious. For golfers, by golfers, handcrafted, look the part and taste the part. Try a transfusion. If it's not being served at your club, then tell somebody to say, we got to get Party because everybody else has it and everybody loves it. And if your dream is to live in the golf, a golf real estate community, nobody better than the real estate pros of Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro, suncoastdreams.com, a division of Fine Properties based at Lakewood National Golf Club, the #1 golf community in America, and coming soon, right across the street, Calusa Country Club. It will be 18 holes and then an additional 12-hole course and 1,900 units right across the street from Lakewood National. Gene and Vince can help you out with that. All right, enough of the housekeeping. Let's get the man of the hour in. This is Rick Stauffer. Rick, what's going on, man? Where are you joining us from?
Kevin, I'm at my place at Lakewood National, the best place around for golf.
Well, you really use that facility, especially the practice facility. I don't know how much golf you play there, but you are a practice hound. What's the genesis behind that?
I think I'm an early bird, so I try to get to that practice facility by, when the sun comes up and just try to get an hour and a half in, short game, hit some balls. And then when Commander opens up, go over and putt on that green. I think now I like the idea of playing golf more than actually going out and playing. And as you know, when we're done caddying, we don't want to go out there and play. So I really have to make an effort to go out and play. And truth be told, I haven't played in almost 2 months now. So I'll get out there and play a little, and we'll get around in at Lakewood National or Concession sometime soon.
Yeah, well, you and I, we talk about golf a lot, and you're right. We don't really play it all that much anymore. I think I play maybe on average 9 holes a week.
Yeah.
But I kind of get the feeling with caddying, for me, it's like I feel like I'm playing golf anyway. I'm just not hitting the shots.
Yeah.
I mean, is that how you feel? Am I telling your story, or do you got a little different spin on it?
No. I think you're out there with when you're out with a group, you want them to have the best round possible. And sometimes, if you've been out with people on a regular basis, that they have a personal best coming up, or they have to do something special the last few holes. So I think you're still in the game, even though you're not, swinging a golf club.
Well, when it's all said and done, I'm with you on you just don't have the energy to play and practice properly. I mean, I still give it an effort, and then I play like crap, and then I feel like crap because I play like crap. It's such a vicious cycle, isn't it?
It is. It's my expectations are pretty low. So if I'm going out there with buddies after work, I want to have fun and be around them and have a good time. Shooting a score is not important to me anymore.
Well, you got to help me get to that point, because that's my problem. I know it's my problem, because I just, the old saying that a bad day at the golf course is better than a good day at work. Right. I believe it to an extent, but crappy golf drives me insane. Yeah. But what can I do? How can I bridge this purgatory I'm in?
I mean, look, we have expectations of how we want to play. But if you're not out there every day practicing and stuff, we're not, those days have passed for us. So, I just have a very realistic approach to when I play now. It's just to have fun. Now, if we have a little game here and there and we're playing for something, then that's one thing. But I'm not playing in tournaments anymore, and I did very little of that anyway. But I'm just happy to be out there if I get a chance to play.
Yeah, maybe I should gamble more or have a party or something. I usually say that for after the round, because I think golf is hard enough as it is. But
do they have non-alcoholic? They have non-alcoholic parties for caddies. That'd be kind of cool.
We don't have that, but that's a good marketing idea. Maybe we should. Yeah. I don't know. A caddy with an adult beverage in his hand is a fast ticket to being fired. I think wherever you are,
doesn't matter.
Don't go down that road. So where does your road to golf begin? Take me back. How did it all start, and where was it?
Yeah, so St. Louis is my home. Grew up there. No one in my family plays golf, and so I had a buddy of mine who actually lives in Tampa now. We're friends on Facebook. We haven't reconnected though. He lived a couple houses behind me and then a couple houses down, and he lived on a hill on top of a common ground. And I'd watch him occasionally hit golf balls from the top of his hill down to the common ground. So I started doing that, and I was 13, 14 at the time, and then kind of bought a used set of clubs and kind of organically learned to play golf. But it really wasn't until I started caddying and then ultimately working in the bag room at two different country clubs in St. Louis that I started having more exposure to teachers and kind of better golf. Up to that point, I mean, I didn't make my high school golf team till my junior year. So, I mean, it was really a longer process for me before I even got, decent enough to play even high school.
So did you see caddying as your ticket into the game? Because I know a lot of people that's how it all started. I mean, we could go back in history. Arnold Palmer, Chi-Chi, just a lot of guys, they didn't have the opportunities to play.
No, I had a buddy of mine lived behind 5 Green at Bellerive Country Club, world famous Bellerive Country Club in St. Louis. And we would sneak on and we would play 6-7, drop a ball in the fairway in 2, the par 3-3, 4 and 5. And ultimately we get chased off all the time. And, my buddy Mike would say, "This is dumb. Why don't we just go caddy?" So I think we even told him what we did. We didn't want to get caught like on the backside. So, that was just so we could play a little golf. And, I did that for a summer. Summer I was 16, and then the next year got a job in the bag room of a country club. So my caddying was kind of short-lived right at the beginning, even though I'd continued to caddy for pros and like US Open qualifiers and members and like district match play events and stuff like that. But, it was to play, that first summer on Mondays.
Yeah, that's nothing like Mondays at a private club. You feel like you're a Monday member, and
Right.
And a lot of people learn the game that way. But at that point, you've earned it. You know what I mean? Because you put in the time, you looped, and you have the utmost respect for the course. Yeah, that's really cool stuff. Rick Stauffer is our guest here on Party Time, brought to you by Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative, then try a Party. And a big thanks to the Golf Real Estate Pros of Vince Vizicaro and Gene Walsh from SuncoastDreams.com. If your dream is to live in a place like Lakewood National Golf Club or the soon-to-becoming Calusa Country Club, Gene and Vince are the people for you, and then maybe you can tee it up with a guy like Rick and me at Lakewood National and have a party while we're playing or afterwards. So jumping from like the club scene to the professionals, when did you start getting serious about it to where you were getting on professional tours?
Yeah, so went to University of Missouri, Columbia, graduated from there, and then out of school, got into the insurance business, which I'm still at, still do, kind of part-time, but it's my full-time gig. And then the LPGA Tour had an event in St. Louis. It was called the Michelob Open, I think, and it was held at Forest Hills Country Club. And I was trying to remember why I even went out there. I really don't. I think I was working part-time at a golf shop, and I think the owner had a foursome in the Pro-Am on a Monday or Tuesday. I don't even remember, and said that, if I can show up, that he wasn't sure if one of the guys was going to play. Well, I showed up, and that person obviously was playing. So I met a caddy on that tour, and we got to talking. He's like, "You should caddy this week." And I said, I'm like, how do you do that? He said, "You just go up and ask someone." This is 97. And the very first person I went up to, Amy Reed, she said yes. And so I caddied for her that year. The following year, her really good friend, she wasn't playing, but her friend wanted me to caddy for Kate Golden, who's won on tour, played at Texas, was the assistant women's coach for Texas for 14 years. And I caddied for her, and that started a run of loops for her over the next few years on the LPGA Tour. And then through that, I was able to get some tour loops on the Nike Tour, which became the Korn Ferry Tour, web.com, and then Korn Ferry. So
it was
just
very cool.
It was random. It was random at best.
Yeah, well, but just take me back to that parking lot conversation, like where you got your first loop.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
So she pulled in. She opened her trunk. She pulled her bag out. I vividly remember this. The name on the bag was facing me. So when I went up to her, I said, "Amy," because I could tell it wasn't like, "Hey, you, do you need a caddy?" I said, "Amy, do you need a caddy for a week?" And at that time, Kevin, I would say a good chunk of the gals did not have a regular caddy week in, week out. The caddies would actually travel, or there'd be local people. So I just said to her, and she's like, "Have you caddied?" And I was honest that, I had not done any like tour caddying, but I've caddied in US Open qualifiers and stuff like that. So I had some experience in tournament golf caddying, not a lot, but enough for her to say yes. And who knows if she said no? Who knows? So she said yes, and we had I think we missed the cut that week, but the following year for friend Kate, I think we finished top 20. We were 2 groups behind Annika. I remember the crowds being crazy, and so it just just her saying yes changed everything. This is why we're sitting down probably.
Wow, that's cool. Is there a backstory to you caddying a Concession golf club that's maybe ages you a little bit as compared to everybody texting and emailing?
Very random. So back in the summer of 21, I belonged to a club in Columbia, Missouri, called Old Hawthorne, and that's where the men's and women's team for Mizzou plays and practices at. And I'm very close with both programs there. And I got done playing one day, and my buddy asked me if I had any plans. This is May of 21. And I said, well, I'm taking my wife, Sue, for her birthday in June. We're going to West Palm Beach. And he said, don't do that. We just bought a place in Sarasota. Why don't you guys go stay down there? And I said, oh, we can't do that. And I think he had just bought the place. I don't think knew anyone in his community. And I think he wanted someone to check on it because he wasn't going back for a while, I don't think. And so we went down there. We had a great time. I knew Concession was over, and I actually tried to get over there. But as you know, you have to go through a gate. I just wanted to buy something out of the pro shop, and they wouldn't let me through. And so fast forward to September, we went back down. He invited us back down to stay. And that's when my wife said, hey, what are your thoughts about maybe spending the winter down here? And I said, yeah, that's fine. And so we went to Lakewood National. We took Arthur took us through a tour of the one of the demo homes, condos. We asked if he does rentals. He said no, but he gave us the name of a gal. We called her, and this is September, and at the time they were already booked up. But my wife and her had a good conversation. My wife's a realtor, so they kind of talked that world a little. And I think we were on our way back to St. Louis, driving back between Atlanta and Chattanooga. And my wife gets a call from a 941 number, and it was this Carol gal. And she said, hey, look, someone canceled. You won't believe this. Someone canceled. You weren't first on my list, but, would you like, and we were thinking 30 days, which turned into 90. So we rented the place sight unseen. And then when I got home, I thought, well, what am I going to do for 90 days? My insurance business, I have clients everywhere, so that's not a problem where I'm at. I love golf, but not to the extent where I can play every day. I don't do that now. I wasn't going to do that back then. And so I actually wrote Concession because there's nothing really on the website. So I wrote Concession a letter, and basically it was, Dear Caddy Manager, my name's Rick Stauffer. I caddied on the LPGA Tour. I'm going to be living across the street this winter at Lakewood National. If you need a part-time caddy, let me know. And then our friend Joe called me 2 weeks later. And again, if that letter doesn't get in his hands, who knows what happens? We're not talking right now. He called me. He's like, yeah, I need you in 6 weeks down for member guest. So that's literally how it started. So I had to come down for training, and then did member guest, went back home, and then came down January 1. And then ultimately, about halfway through our rental, we decided we love the community so much that we ended up buying a place here. And
cool. Hey, look who it is. It's did you sneak in on me again?
I snuck in, Kevin.
Yes.
You didn't see me.
Well, here you are, and I'm glad you're here. It's been a while since you've been here, about a month or so, and a lot has happened. How's the market doing?
The market's doing great. It's picking up. We had a Hurricane Milton, and we're recovering, cleaning up. The good news is that we're not in a flood zone. We didn't have as much damage and devastation as the coast did, but we're grateful to be here and to be working again. It's a good time to buy. It's a good time to sell.
And people are coming a little bit early. We usually don't talk about the season until December, but it seems like some people are getting ahead of the game.
They are. Properties are going under contract, and they're going quickly. So if you've had your eye on a property and you've been watching the market and houses have been sitting for a little bit of time, you're seeing a change to that for sure. So it's time to get serious if you'd like to be in a new home.
We're hearing a lot of talk about the place across the street, Walsh Country Club, which is going to have 18 holes and then an additional 12 holes and a lot of homes. What do you know about that?
Yes, there's going to be 1,900 properties. 1,500 of the properties will be deeded golf, and then 500 social is what we're being told. We are going to be attending a VIP event next week, Vince and I, and we'll find out more details about that. We are told also that orders are being taken November 8th for initial purchases. So that's something to think about as well.
And you can help at Walsh Country Club as well as Lakewood National.
Yes, and I think that Calusa is going to give us a really nice bump here at Lakewood National. People are going to go over to Calusa and see that they can get in on the ground level of some property purchases, but at the same time, it's going to take a few years for everything to be built up. They're going to walk over to Lakewood National across the street and they're going to say, wow, this is a great community. Everything's here. Everything's ready. It's gorgeous. So I think this community, Lakewood National, is also going to get a really nice bump from all the joint marketing efforts that are being done.
Okay, cool. Exciting times. Gene Walsh, suncoastdreams.com, the other half of the Visit Carl and Walsh team. Thanks, Gene.
Thank you.
Place here. And that was
Cool.
2.5 years.
And then you really got deep into the
Yes.
caddying, like doing it not
No.
part-time, but really doing it full-time.
So what happened was we had a condo in Columbia, Missouri, near the club that we belonged to. In order to buy this place, we had to sell that place, which that was tough for us to do, but we had to do that. And so I knew I wasn't going to be going to Columbia every weekend to play golf, because I would go, Thursday through Sunday and play weekends down there. And so then when I knew by March of 22, when I knew that I wasn't going to be playing golf in the summers much, I again reached out to two clubs in St. Louis, Old Warson and Bellerive, and the head pro at Old Warson, Steve Hogue, reached out to me and said, yeah, we need you full time. So, I just wrapped up my third full season at Old Warson, and then I occasionally do some loops at Bellerive. My buddy Randy's the caddy manager there. So, yeah, that's when we bought our place down here. That's when it became full-time caddying.
Got it. So help me understand something. What would you say? I mean, I know there's a massive difference, but I'd rather hear from somebody that can really articulate it between caddying at a private club or a resort versus tour caddying.
I think on the tour side, you are very much emotionally invested, financially invested, obviously, in the outcome of your player. You're really a partner with him or her in this journey that they're trying to do, this very difficult way of making a living. Heartbreak, success. It's a fine line there. When you're club caddying, you're at Stream Song, I'm at Concession. A guy misses a 3-footer, I want him to make it, but it's not. You don't feel it emotionally as you do when you're out on Thursdays and Fridays trying to make the cut.
Tell me this, like when your man or your gal misses a 3-foot putt, is it? Does it wipe you out? I mean, are you just disheartened by it, or how quickly do you got to move on?
On the Corn Ferry Tour, I've caddied the last 2 years for a kid named Brendan Jelly, who played at Oklahoma State, won a national championship there when Victor Hovland was there. And Brendan's an absolutely exceptional golfer, and he's close to busting through. He was 82nd, I think, in points going into Columbus this year, which was the second to last playoff for Corn Ferry. Top 75 through Columbus, get to the finals. Top 75 get their full Corn Ferry Tour card for the following year. He was 82nd in points, so obviously he has to make the cut. And we fought hard that week. I think he eagled 14 to get to the number, and then we 3-putted 17 and then missed a 10-footer on 18 for birdie and missed the cut by 1, and that was a gut punch. We knew where we were. He's very solid. He's very middle of the road. some of my job, I think, is to lower the highs and rise the lows and keep my guys and gals in the middle as much as I can. And he does. I don't have to do that with him. He's very positive, but by missing that cut, he's got to go back to stage one. Now he's got some conditional status, Kevin, next year. He'll get in some early tournaments. He did it last year as well, and finished, I think, 5th in a tournament in South America. And then him and I finished tied for 10th in Kansas City, and that set him up the rest of the year for starts. But, he's not guaranteed starts next year. And so he got through stage one a couple weeks ago, and he goes to stage 2 in Florida, I think in a month or so. So it's tough.
Will you join him for that? Will you join him for that?
No, he's got a good friend of his out in Scottsdale. One of his regular buddies caddies for him. I do 3-4 tournaments a year for him.
Got it. Well, you just recently did an LPGA Tour qualifying event.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, stage 2 was down at Plantation in Venice, and I did it the year before. And one of my buddies, the former Mizzou men's coach, Mark LaRue, his son, Lake, is the head women's coach at Sam Houston State down north of Houston. He had a player that got through stage 1 that needed a caddy, so we worked together a couple of weeks ago. Our last round was kind of iffy. We didn't play very well, but it was a good experience for her. She'll get some starts on Epson Tour. She'll have to do something with it, but she's a good player. I mean, she's 22, so she's got time.
It was interesting for another reason. There was a transgendered golfer involved. Tell me about that. What was that like?
Yeah. Well, our last round, we were paired with a gal, and she was the transgender player. I mean, if you Google it, you'll read all about it. She played with us. Super nice, very supportive of my player and the other player in the group and the caddies, and it was just a weird. It was just a weird atmosphere. That's the best way I can describe it.
It just felt different.
Yes.
Was there?
Very much.
You said there was security involved. What was that all about?
We had a golf cart following us. It said media on there, but you could tell that was they weren't taking pictures. It was a security person following us. Probably for her protection and ours as well. Okay. There was no incident or anything, but there's strong opinions about this stuff, and you never know. So
yeah, and you could just kind of feel it. It just changed the air. It changed the air. Okay, good enough. Okay, we can move on for there. Yeah. So much of your life centers around golf. Hey, Mary, I think the chicken's done. We got dinner coming up in just a second. Can you imagine your life without golf in it?
No, it's getting kind of deep into golf. I mean, every part of my life is really golf related. I mean, before you and I do some work with the men's golf program at Mizzou and help with some fundraisers. I was just on the phone with a buddy of mine in Columbia. They're doing some meetings and looking to do some fundraising stuff. And so, I mean, it's golf really nonstop. I love it. I every day is, I really enjoy going into work. I love caddying. I like caddying for all different types of people. And I couldn't imagine my life without it.
Rick Stauffer, professional caddy at Concession Golf Club, one of my golf buddies, or a good conversationalist. We always have good conversations. He's our guest here on Party Time, brought to you by Party Drinks, and also the Golf Real Estate Pros of Vince Vizicaro and Gene Walsh from SuncoastDreams.com, a division of fine properties in the greater Sarasota area. So, Rick, we're about done here, but leave me with something profound. If there's one golf tip that can benefit anybody, just an everyday golfer or somebody that's pretty good? You've been around the block. You've seen a lot. What would that tip be?
I would say when I'm caddying for just regular guys and gals, 10, 15, 20 handicaps, I would say there are a couple things. I would say when I give a number to a flag, the amount of approach shots that end up short is mind blowing. It's 95% of the time. Put your ego aside and take an extra club or two, assuming there's no danger going long. And look at Concession, a lot of the misses are short. I understand that, but the amount of everyone takes their best shot as their average shot, and that's not the case. It's not for me. It's not for you, Kevin. It's not for them. We're not professionals here playing golf. Take an extra club or two. And try to get that ball pin high, because you're better off doing that than leaving it, chunking it or whatever. But most approach shots end up short. I would also say play more break. Most putts are missed on the low side by far, and learn how to hit distance control putts. Learn how to hit 10, 20, 30 foot putts and try to get those. We point to spots for them to putt, but they struggle even getting a 10-foot putt, knowing how hard to hit a 10-foot putt. And I would say those things are probably, they improve on those things. I think they'll see their scores drop.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that, especially the speed control. All reads start with speed. And it's all about proximity. I mean, it's nice to make putts, but you never want a 3-putt, and you can't go that wrong with the break, but you can really go wrong with the speed, too much or too little, and then that leaves you those 6-footers coming back, and that'll cook you.
The pros are 50% at 8.5 feet. Those are the best putters in the world. So I mean, you got a 15-footer, you got to 2-putt that thing.
Absolutely. Rick Stauffer, hey, man, really appreciate you. I will see you on the golf course, or maybe we'll be on a loop together. Yes. Enjoy the conversation, and looking forward to seeing you again and seeing you on the air as well. Big thank you to our title sponsors, Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course, try Party. And if your dream is to live in a golf resort community like Lakewood National Golf Club or the soon-to-becoming Calusa Country Club right across the street from Lakewood National, give Gene and Vince a call, and they'll take good care of you. For Rick Stauffer, I'm Kevin Walsh. We'll see you again next time on Party Time, My Golf Story.
You've been listening to It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers, and the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Vizzacaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000.
This is Vince Vizzacaro and Gene Walsh with the suncoastdreams.com real estate team at Fine Properties. We've helped hundreds of families find their dream homes in golf and resort communities in Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton, Sarasota, Parrish, Venice, and the surrounding areas.
Let us be your guides to finding your dream home here as well. Learn more at suncoastdreams.com or call us at 941-220-4000.